If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to Downfall Network for more cool content.
What's up, everyone? Thralls of Metal here with another excellent album review. I am Shredlord.
Necrotic Nick.
And we are here to bring you Dark Tranquillity's 2020 release, Moment.
This comes out on the 20th of November. On Century Media Records, this is the band's 12th full length. And these guys are one of the pioneering bands of the entire melodic death metal sound in terms of that whole Gothenburg scene from the 90s. Formed in 1991 in Gothenburg, Sweden, of course. This one actually represents a little bit of a change, actually kind of a major one. Earlier this year, their longtime founding guitarist, Nicholas Sundin, left the band to go focus on family matters, and we wish you the best of luck there because you have contributed a lot of killer albums, so you've earned it, man.
Some time off.
But they replaced it with some interesting fellows. Johan Reinholz from Skyfire and Andromeda. I believe he's also in some other bands that I can't quite remember, but those are the two I do remember. And one Christopher Amat, formerly of Arch Enemy and little brother of... who's that guy?
Michael Amat from Carcass and Arch Enemy.
So yeah, pretty much a good lineage there in terms of guitarists. And I was eager to actually hear what this album would bring out in terms of having two brand new guitarists in here, because Nicholas has been doing incredible guitar work here, mostly just, you know, in terms of like lead melodies and such, always accenting the song, building harmonies with the keyboards and such. And what we got is a really solid album once again. One thing I will definitely say about this album right away is this is one of the most atmospheric releases from Dark Tranquillity to date. Opening track, Phantom Days, opens up with a cool atmospheric keyboard bit and then starts building into this really like thick, chunky riff. And I love the sound of the guitars on here. They are just thick, hearty, very chuggy. But again, the thing that really sounds pronounced on here are the keys this time. Now, the production was mostly done by the keyboardist. I don't know if he was playing favorites, but it really helped craft a very different album because this doesn't feel like retread from Atoma, which Atoma was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, much more heavier. I think the presence of the keyboard, like you said, added to the moodiness. That's a reason, that's a big reason, I should say, why this feels a little darker and moodier.
It feels like more full, too. Like, I mean, the keyboards are playing like lots of different levels here. Like the bass, you know, lots of like higher stuff in there, lots of cool atmospheric spots. And one of the cool things that Dark Tranquillity has always done well is, since, you know, having two guitarists, they'd have one guy play the main riff and then the other guitarist could play a lead that would harmonize with the keyboards. And that's always been a dynamic that Dark Tranquillity has done well. Another track that I really liked in here was Identical to None, and this is one where I think the lead work really shines. And the lead work is really, really good on here. Two different guys, two very different styles than Sundin had, and surprisingly, the guy that caught my ear the most wasn't Christopher Amat, it was actually Johan Reinholz. His leads on here are really good. Granted, they're mostly like short, they're just there to kind of just, you know, accentuate that
power
one
up the song, not indulge.
But they're very good and they're very like crisp and clean. And there's a lot of stuff on this song that screams kind of upbeat or anthemic. It isn't always that dark, brooding mood. Trust me, that comes later, but
it has sometimes, at times, it has almost a epic power metal vibe.
And we were just talking before, like, I mean, if you swap out the harsh vocals for all clean, like, anthemic power metal vocals with melodic death metal, it would fit really well. But I like the harsh vocals on here, but one of the cool things that popped up on this album that I was really surprised by...
all the clean vocals.
Lots of clean vocals. And Michael Stans, he has a solid raspy growl. It's an awesome delivery. I've grown so used to it over the years. But I forget that he can actually sing. And he definitely reminded everyone that he could sing on this one. Pretty much like the entire middle of the album really labors clean vocals. The Dark Unbroken, Remain in the Unknown, and Standstill all have prominent, clean vocals, and this is where the synths really take off. They become almost like the main melody. Instead of like being guitar-driven, it's actually kind of synth-driven.
One thing I find fascinating about this album is your love for the keyboards.
I know,
it's normally not your thing. Yeah.
But it's how they're done. Like, they have that sort of dark, somber mood. There's no parts in here where like, oh, it's a keyboard solo and it has to sound like Children of Bodom. You know, like, oh, it's wankery, except with a keyboard. It's never that. It never takes away from the song. It's always to add to the song. And that's how I think keyboards should be used. Like, any band that uses keyboards like that, I generally get into.
And not to be an elitist, I actually very much enjoy early Children of Bodom.
Oh man, no, I still do. But it is kind of wankery. It's a little bit like, it's showboating. Because, I mean, they trade off leads with the solos.
It's not their fault they're good.
They're good. They are good.
Fault, they're good.
But this is more to serve the song. The Dark Unbroken builds really well from the keys. Opens up with like a really dark, foreboding keyboard part. And then it just keeps building. And the guitar supplies some extra heft to it. And then just drives into this really cool, clean sung chorus. And I don't know, I really like Stan's vocal approach. It's, you know, kind of like more baritone. He's not trying to like soar up, he's singing well within his range. He's got a nice vibrato, and all of it feels kind of dark. They're Dark Tranquillity. They're not, you know, light, happy Tranquility. It all kind of fits that whole mood of the album. And this whole middle part is really interesting, just how they use a lot of that. Now, there's still plenty of absolutely heavy parts on here, but a lot of this is about melody and mood.
It's really putting his vocals in the spotlight. As much as he's swooning and crooning, and he does have a great tone to his clean voice, for me personally, I just could not get into the clean vocals as much as Nick. And I think maybe one of the reasons is there was a couple songs where the choruses didn't really stick with me, and I felt like maybe he could have made different note choices for me. And at times maybe it had a you know, I don't want to say periphery, but it had that genty, clean vocal chorusy vibe where it almost was like, you know, I'm gonna build up hope, we're gonna do this together, brother. And I
didn't get that, but I mean like there are some songs that definitely have like, I don't know, maybe like more of the major chord sounds. Like, you know, those are the happy chords. Yeah. But when you get down to like Adrana Exit is back to like all the heavy vocals, not much in the way of anything clean in there. It's all slow, it's murky. I love the big kind of doomy lead in. And there was an absolutely killer bass line in that song. I like the fact that, you know, they kind of balanced out the whole middle section. They were definitely trying to labor the fact that there was going to be more clean vocals. And then, you know, right back to like, hey, we know who we are. We love the harsh vocals too. We like getting heavy.
One of my favorite tracks off the album was the 10th track, Fail State. The reason I think I like this song so much is, to me, this was one of the most just like kind of straightforward, meat and potatoes, no bullshit kind of metal song on the album. You know, a lot of heaviness.
At the Gatesy.
Very at the Gatesy. It's not, I don't think there's a single clean vocal on it.
I don't think so either.
Maybe that's why I like it so much. But yeah, that track really stands out to me because it's still melodic. It still has the, you know, the Swedish melodic death metal vibe, but they didn't go back to the melodic well multiple times as they do in all the tracks prior to this. So
Empire Lost in Time also is kind of a cool throwback one. That one, they kind of, you know, the keyboards were not very out in front. In fact, it's mostly driven by the guitars there, and it has, again, that solid old school melodic death metal sound. But the last track, In Truth Divided, was kind of the big shocker because that one is mostly kind of clean guitars and synths.
But it starts off really heavy.
It does, but it's like synth heavy, very like catatonia.
Yeah, it was cool.
All clean vocals too, I believe. And it has this big glum like 80s sort of chorus. Like it feels, I don't know, like, you know, Depeche Mode meets Dark Tranquillity, which, you know what, I mean, it's kind of interesting. I'm here for it. Yeah, I'm down. Overall, I really enjoyed this album. They did a good job not trying to repeat what they did on Atoma, which, again, that is an awesome album as well, but very different. This is more about mood and atmosphere, and I think it really just makes this one stand out a bit in the discography, which, you know, 12 albums in, you're still putting out stuff that's really noteworthy. Way to go. So overall, I'm going to give this 4 stars. I think this is an absolute banger, and I will definitely be returning to this one. There's a lot of stuff to keep me coming back, and again, really surprised with the amount of clean vocals in here. Michael Stan, you did a great job on here, both in the harsh vocals and the cleans. And Christopher Amott and Johan Reinholz, awesome additions. I look forward to hearing more contributions from them in the future.
So while this album was filled with excellent melodic death metal. There was really more melodic and less death metal. They experimented heavy with more of the keyboard driven stuff, which was cool. Added a new element that we haven't really heard too much of in Dark Tranquillity in a while.
Yeah.
Once again, you know, they have keyboards in their music, that's for sure.
That's always there.
Yeah.
The clean vocals are a little bit more like pockmarked
Yes.
in terms of like you get like occasional songs.
But those clean vocals didn't quite do it for me, and as much as I like this album, I need to sit with it longer. But all in all, I'll give it a 3.5. Very solid. I just wish there were a couple more memorable parts to me personally, and a little less of the clean vocals, and that would have done it up to a 4 for sure. So, still, a very good album. If you like Dark Tranquillity at all, I think you're going to enjoy this album. And you know what? On a side note, I just feel like I find myself liking way more heavy stuff and less melodic stuff, you know? Like first of all, I like the blend. I'm never gonna not like the blend, but I feel like when there's too much melody, it gets softer. Yeah, it doesn't feel like metal when there's too much melody. I want the melody there in spurts with the heaviness, and lately a lot of these albums we've been reviewing this year have been, there's been a
lot of heavy
diving
stuff.
into it. Yeah. But also a lot of experimentation with clean stuff. And a perfect example would be that Caligula's Horse album. They had elements of really soft, kind of proggy, soft 70s rock. Yeah. But they really hit it home. And you've been seeing that more and more and more and more. But lately my ear has just been drawn to the heavier stuff. Maybe it's because 2020 sucks and COVID sucks and everything just kind of sucks right now. Right?
Heavy, aggressive music helps.
We're all pissed off, so maybe that's why. But still.
Well, I love grindcore.
3.5. It's a solid album. Dark Tranquillity fans will like it once again. And that's all I really have to say about that.
So, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe because we do stuff like this all the time. We will catch you later.